For a chef, Singapore is chock full of inspiration. Whether it's the deep-fried delights, the steamed treats, or the freshest juices, it's all spectacular. On my recent trip to Singapore, I met up with Sarah Benjamin. She's a food blogger and food TV host, and she shared with me the secrets behind two of her favorite recipes. Her first dish was prawn mee, and that rich broth has inspired me to rethink the way I make lobster chowder. That rich broth that Sarah made inspired me to rethink how I make lobster chowder. What I found inspirational about Sarah's prawn mee was the layers of flavor she built in with the different ingredients. In my style of cooking, I was taught to work with the aromatics. Vegetables like leeks, you've got the subtleness of celery, and I love the pop of color of pepper. So these all go into the pot. I noticed that Sarah relied on ginger in her dishes as a flavor builder and as an aromatic. I leaned to fresh herbs like thyme. It lends a background note that doesn't overwhelm the dish, but kind of brings all the flavors together. Now that my vegetables are soft, I can add a little bit of flour, just a touch. This helps to thicken the broth. Once you feel the flour starting to stick at the bottom of the pot, then you know it's time to add the liquid. The secret to my lobster chowder is all about the stock, and I took inspiration from Sarah's. I've got lobster shells and chicken in this stock, and it really builds richness that comes through in the final bowl of chowder. In addition to the chicken and the lobster, I've also added corn cob. That adds a beautiful sweetness. I can take this right from the pot, like Sarah did. Add it to my soup pot. Give it a little stir. I want to bring this to a gentle simmer and add a little bit of diced potato. I'll let that simmer until the potatoes are tender. It's time for the finishing touches. A chowder quite typically has a fair bit of vegetables, so I'm adding corn to mine. And at the same time, I'm adding cooked lobster meat, and this came from the shells that I used in the stock. Once this returns to a simmer, I can add the last ingredient, whipping cream. 35% or higher adds that final bit of richness to make the chowder what it is, a beautiful meal. There we go. Now that it's come back up to a simmer, it's ready to serve. And adding a final taste of Singapore to my chowder, a little bit of chopped coriander, and a touch of lime. And there you have it, my lobster chowder inspired by Sarah Benjamin's prawn mee. This is super savory with all of those vegetables, but the sweetness of the lobster comes through, and you can really pick up the flavor in that broth.